Have you ever asked yourself why so many people, even those who live disciplined, healthy lives, suddenly begin to fade after the age of 80? The truth is shocking. It's not just chance, and it's not just genetics. There are invisible forces quietly working inside the body, slowly stealing energy, clarity, and independence. They don't announce themselves with pain or dramatic symptoms. They creep in silently year after year until one day you wake up weaker, slower, and less resilient than you ever imagined. Most people never realize what's happening until it's too late, and yet those who understand these hidden threats can protect themselves, extend their strength, and live with dignity far beyond 80. This isn't about living forever, it's about making the years you have truly count. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could change the way you see aging forever. And if you find value in messages like this, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so we can keep bringing you powerful insights to inspire and protect your future. Now let me ask you a question. Which do you believe is the greater threat after 80? A. The body slowly wearing out. B. The mind quietly losing purpose. Comment your answer below A or B, and let's see how you think about it. The first hidden force that slowly dismantles health after 80 is not something you can see or touch. It doesn't arrive with dramatic pain or a sudden diagnosis. Instead, it begins quietly inside the body, almost invisible, like a shadow moving beneath the surface. Doctors call it inflammaging, a chronic, low-grade inflammation that creeps into cells, tissues, and organs. Unlike the swelling that comes after an injury, this inflammation doesn't show itself on the skin. It doesn't make you limp or leave a scar. It works silently, year after year, feeding on small habits that most of us ignore. Stress that was never released, nights of restless sleep, years of processed food, hours of sitting too long. All of these choices collect like drops of water filling a jar. By the time you reach your 80 seconds, that jar is overflowing. What makes inflammaging so dangerous is that it rarely feels like an emergency. You may wake up feeling stiff, but you tell yourself it's just age. You might feel more tired than usual, but you assume it's normal. Your memory might slip, your focus might fade, yet your blood tests look fine. This false sense of security allows inflammation to burn unchecked. It is not one event that makes the body weaker. It is the slow accumulation of thousands of unnoticed sparks. By the time most people realize, years of damage have already taken root. Think of George, 82. He walked daily, avoided smoking, and considered himself healthy, yet he constantly complained of fatigue and cloudy thinking. Doctors ran the usual tests, but everything appeared normal. Only when he visited a specialist did the truth emerge. His blood carried high levels of inflammatory markers. He wasn't sick in the traditional sense, but inside his body, the flame of inflammaging had been burning for years, quietly eroding his resilience. The body's ability to regulate inflammation weakens with age. What you could ignore at 50 or 60, a week of poor diet, a stressful month, several sleepless nights, becomes far more dangerous at 80. The immune system no longer responds as efficiently, the repair processes slow down, and the flame spreads more easily. Inflammaging does not limit itself to one area. It hardens the arteries, raising the risk of heart disease and stroke. It unsettles the brain, laying the groundwork for dementia and memory loss. It irritates the joints, turning ordinary movement into painful effort. The tragedy is that many older adults don't even realize this fire is burning until it has already stolen their strength. Yet this hidden enemy is not unbeatable. The truth is hopeful. Inflammation responds to care. Small, steady choices carry power. Whole foods, bright vegetables, fresh fruits, oily fish, nuts, and seeds provide nutrients that calm the fire. Regular walking strengthens circulation, delivering oxygen that helps cells repair. Protecting sleep allows the body to reset, lowering the stress signals that fuel inflammation. Even 10 minutes of quiet breathing, meditation, or time in nature can lower stress hormones and give the immune system a chance to rest. These are not extraordinary efforts, but consistent ones. Each step cools the flame, creating space for strength to return. The battle against inflammaging is not fought in a single day. There is no magic pill, no single solution. It is won through persistence, through the quiet discipline of choosing better every day. You won't see results overnight. There will be no applause for turning down sugar or going to bed early. But years later, those small victories determine whether you enter your 80 seconds clear-minded, steady on your feet, and capable of living independently, or whether you find yourself consumed by a fire you never even saw. Aging is inevitable, but decline does not have to be. Silent inflammation is not destiny. It is a warning, and it is also an invitation to live with more awareness, to respect the body's limits, and to give it what it truly needs. Because the choices you make now can decide whether your later years are defined by weakness and fatigue, or by energy, dignity, and strength that lasts far longer than you thought possible. The second great challenge that silently emerges after 80 is the steady disappearance of muscle. It does not begin with dramatic weakness or sudden collapse. It begins in small, almost unnoticeable ways. The jar that feels harder to open, the chair that takes longer to rise from, the stairs that seem a little steeper than before. At first, these moments feel harmless, just small inconveniences of age. But underneath lies something far more serious. This is sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength that accelerates sharply after 80, turning ordinary life into an uphill battle. Muscles are more than just strength. They are the body's silent guardians, protecting balance, supporting joints, and keeping blood sugar stable. They provide the power to walk confidently, to carry groceries, to lift a grandchild, to rise from bed without fear of falling. When muscle fades, so does independence. What once was routine bending, to tie shoes, walking to the store, cooking a meal, becomes exhausting, sometimes dangerous. And while many older adults dismiss this weakness as natural aging, it is not simply a matter of time. It is a process that can be slowed, even reversed, with awareness and care. Consider Frank, 84, who had always been cheerful and independent. He lived alone and valued his freedom. But one afternoon, he tripped on a rug and broke his hip. The doctors told him what he had never realized. Years of gradual muscle loss had left his body fragile. He thought of himself as steady, but the truth was that his strength had been slipping quietly away. The fall was not an accident, it was the result of a foundation that had slowly weakened beneath him. That single fracture began a spiral. Weeks in bed led to further weakness, which led to reliance on a walker, and eventually, the shrinking of a once active life. This is the danger of muscle loss. It is not just about how strong you look, but how resilient you remain. One fall can take away independence, dignity, and the sense of control over daily life. And the cycle is merciless. Weakness leads to inactivity. Inactivity accelerates weakness, and soon a vibrant life becomes confined to a chair. Yet while this picture may sound grim, there is extraordinary hope hidden inside it. Because unlike some forces of aging, muscle loss is not a one-way road. The body, even in its 80 seconds, responds to challenge. It responds to movement. It responds to nourishment. The tools are simple, though they require persistence. Regular walking is powerful, not for speed, but for consistency. Gentle resistance training with light weights or bands signals the body to preserve and rebuild what time has taken. Stretching keeps mobility alive, preventing stiffness from stealing movement. Protein-rich foods supply the raw material muscles need to repair and grow. These are not the habits of athletes, they are the habits of survivors, of elders who refuse to surrender their independence without a fight. What makes these efforts remarkable is how quickly they restore more than just strength. With stronger muscles comes better balance, fewer falls, steadier steps, and greater confidence. Energy returns because the body is moving again, circulation improves, metabolism steadies, and even the mind feels sharper. The ripple effect of maintaining muscle touches every corner of life: health, mood, safety, and the ability to keep saying yes to the activities that bring joy. The lesson is clear. Muscle is not a luxury after 80. It is protection. It is the shield that guards independence, the anchor that holds life steady against the storms of age. Each step, each stretch, each bite of nourishing food is not just an action in the present, it is an investment in the future. It is the difference between living longer in fear and limitation, or living longer with freedom and dignity. After muscle loss, another quiet thief emerges in later life, one that many dismiss as ordinary or unchangeable. It is the slow unraveling of sleep. By the time someone enters their 80s, Nights that once brought deep rest too often turn into restless hours, frequent awakenings, and mornings that begin with fatigue instead of renewal. Sleep is not just about closing the eyes, it is the body's most vital repair process. During those silent hours, the brain clears waste, cells regenerate, and the immune system resets its defenses. When sleep becomes shallow or fragmented, the body loses its nightly restoration. Day after day, that deficit builds until it weakens every system that depends on renewal. The effects are rarely dramatic at first. They creep in like shadows across the day. A forgotten name here, a misplaced object there, a sudden irritation over something small. Many older adults shrug these off as harmless signs of age, but beneath them lies a deeper truth. Poor sleep leaves the mind foggy, the body tired, and the spirit vulnerable. What seems like simple forgetfulness is often the brain struggling without its nightly cleaning. What feels like low energy is the body running on an empty tank. And what seems like a weaker immune system, the frequent colds, the slow recoveries, is often the result of sleep that no longer restores. Consider Alice, 86. For years, she thought waking up 3 or 4 times a night was natural. She accepted her fatigue as inevitable and her slipping memory as something she could not fight. Yet her doctor explained what she had never realized. Her body was not failing simply because of age. It was failing because it had not been given the chance to heal. Once she made small adjustments, keeping a consistent bedtime, reducing late caffeine, seeking out morning sunlight, and creating a cooler, darker room, her nights slowly deepened. Over time, her clarity returned, her energy lifted, and her immune strength began to rebuild. Alice's story is not unique. Across the world, countless older adults live with broken sleep and believe nothing can be done. But science and experience tell us otherwise. The brain and body crave rhythm. They respond to routine, to signals that day is for activity and night is for restoration. Even light movement during daylight hours helps prepare the body for deeper sleep at night. Exposure to natural light resets the circadian clock. A quiet, dark environment reduces interruptions, while steady rituals before bed reading, soft music, gentle breathing, signal the body to release tension and drift naturally into rest. The importance of sleep after 80 cannot be overstated. It is as essential as food, as vital as movement, as protective as medicine. Without it, the mind loses its sharpness, the body its resilience, and the spirit its energy to enjoy the life that remains. With it, every system benefits. Memory sharpens, mood stabilizes, steps grow steadier, and the immune system stands taller against illness. We often glorify action, exercise, diet, routines, but overlook the quiet power of rest. Yet it is in those silent hours of deep sleep that the body gathers the strength to continue. The danger of poor sleep is not just the fatigue of one morning, it is the slow erosion of independence, clarity, and joy. The gift of good sleep, on the other hand, is not just one refreshed day, but the foundation of well-being that carries through every moment. In later life, protecting sleep is one of the greatest acts of self-preservation. It is not indulgence, it is not luxury, it is the medicine written into the rhythm of night and day. To ignore it is to surrender strength without a fight. To honor it is to reclaim power that aging tries to take away. There is one more force, often overlooked, that slowly unravels life after 80. It is not an illness of the body, but a wound of the heart and mind. Loneliness, coupled with the loss of daily purpose, can be as destructive as any disease. The body may survive, but the soul begins to fade. Studies have shown again and again that social isolation can shorten life expectancy as much as chronic illness. Yet unlike physical conditions, its damage is quiet, invisible, and often denied until it is too late. The danger comes not only from being alone, but from feeling unneeded, invisible, without a reason to rise in the morning. The human heart is built for connection, and when that connection weakens, the effects ripple through every part of health. The immune system falters, stress hormones rise, and the brain begins to lose its sharpness. Even those who still manage their physical needs may find that the silence in their homes slowly drains the will to live. Think of Bill, 88. He lost his wife 5 years ago. His children live in other states. He keeps his home tidy, makes simple meals, and passes the hours with television. On the surface, he manages well, but he admits that sometimes days go by without speaking to another person. What he misses most is not noise or activity, but the sense that someone is waiting for him, that his presence matters. That emptiness, more than age, has become the heaviest burden he carries. This is not weakness, it is human nature. We are designed to matter to others, to contribute, to be part of something larger than ourselves. And after 80, when careers have ended, children have grown, and many friends have passed, the roles that once gave life meaning often vanish. Retirement can mean rest, but it can also mean disconnection. The world seems to shrink, and with it, the sense of identity. Without purpose, even the strongest body struggles to stay alive in spirit. But the truth is, purpose does not have to be grand to be powerful. It does not require achievements or titles. It can be as simple as watering plants each morning, feeding the birds at the window, writing letters to family, calling a neighbor, or offering a smile to someone who passes by. These small acts create rhythm and meaning. They remind us that life, even in its quietest stage, still holds weight. They prove that presence, no matter how ordinary, still matters. Connection works the same way. A conversation, a shared meal, a visit to a community group, or even a short phone call can lift the weight of isolation. Reaching out, though it may feel awkward or vulnerable, often brings light not only to the one who receives it, but also to the one who gives it. Solitude can be chosen and beautiful, but loneliness, when it feels like invisibility, eats away at vitality. Protecting purpose and connection is as vital as protecting the heart or the bones. As we reflect on all four hidden forces, inflammation, muscle loss, poor sleep, and loneliness, it becomes clear that aging is not just about the passage of years, but about the choices made in those years. Each of these challenges is powerful, yet each can be met with awareness and action. To know them is to disarm them. To ignore them is to surrender without a fight. Living beyond 80 is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. It is a call to protect not only the body but also the spirit. It is not about chasing immortality. It is about making each day vibrant, purposeful, and whole. The years ahead may not be as fast or as full as those behind, but they can be rich, meaningful, and free from unnecessary suffering. What matters most is not how many years are left, but how much life is placed into each one. So the question is no longer simply, how long will I live, but rather, how deeply will I live the years I still have? That answer lies in protecting your strength, your rest, your connections, and your purpose. And in doing so, you safeguard not just the length of life, but the dignity and joy of living it.